My name is Samira, and I've done a lot of different things on this channel. If you go back through all the videos, there's a whole journey there. But I want to start a new series in a new spirit, perhaps, on this channel. And essentially, I want to document and hopefully be able to get some community and some support and conversation around what I have decided to do for this next year. So I've decided to do a no-buy year, which is kind of funny because I'm starting it in the middle of the year. But I started my no-buy on July 4th. Today's July 5th that I'm recording. And it's going to end next July 4th of 2026. So, yeah, I mean, I think on YouTube, everybody is pretty familiar with what a no-buy is. But my no-buy specifically includes clothing, makeup, and fragrance for me. So basically things that I would buy for myself as like treats or extras or things like that. I wanted to make this video, which is kind of like the foundational video for this next year, which I hope to be pretty regularly documenting kind of how it's going, and also making videos about clothes and about styling and about fit, which sometimes I put in the context of like body types or body style, because that's stuff that I'm interested in and that I think we don't really get taught. And so with the way that our consumer culture is set up right now, there's a lot of messages, there's a lot of advertising about like what's available, what you can buy, but there's less education about what is actually going to suit you, you know, what might be satisfying long-term for you to buy. So that's something that I'm interested in. So I'd like to make some videos kind of addressing those kinds of ideas too. But this one is really just to kind of open up the project of my no-buy and the idea of it, and talk a little bit about why I decided to do it and how I'm feeling right now, and just to yeah, invite you into my life in this area. So my why right now. So first, before I get into my why, I want to preface it with saying that I actually have done a no-buy year before. I think maybe it was in 2013, something like that. Maybe 2013, 2014, around there. I'm married now and I have 4 kids, but I was married before, and so 2 of my kids are from my first marriage. So it was sometime after my separation from my first husband, and when I had started work in wardrobe in film production. So it was around, yeah, so I think that we got separated in November of 2012. So I think it was probably 2013 that I did a no-buy year. And so that no-buy year I approached out of desperation, because I was just so kind of soul sick and unhappy with myself and my, yeah, just pretty full-on addiction to spending money that I didn't have. Shopping has always been something that I love. I love clothes. I don't even know what it is about them. I just really love clothes. Like I love, I think it's that I love fabric and color, and like, I love all the like artsy parts of clothing, like the self-expression and the actual like quality of the fabrics, and like the quality of like the textural like being of the fabrics. I love that kind of stuff, and color and how it tells a story, sends a message, all those things. So I love all of that artistic element of clothing and of fashion, but there's also always been there for me an overconsumption element as well, or like a guilty spending, whether it's spending too much money or spending too much time as well. So I feel like, you know, it's a dovetail of something that I genuinely just enjoy, genuinely and innocently just enjoy. And then also, because it's something that's good and that I enjoy, it's a place where that I can tend to go to too often, instead of doing other work that needs to be done in my heart and in my life and in my mind. So, yeah, so I guess, yeah, I don't think that clothes are bad. I love clothes, and I don't think makeup, fragrance, any of those things are bad. I love those things. And I think by now on YouTube, we all understand, as far as like a no-buy, it's not that you're rejecting the practice of owning things or liking things or enjoying them. It's just that there's something that needs to be reset. So when I had done this no-buy back in probably 2013, it was very much in a spirit of punishment and self-disgust, you know. So yeah, I'm a disciple, I'm a Christian, and so the way that I describe it is I was attempting repentance in the terms that I understood at that time. Like, but repentance, true repentance, is turning away from sin and turning towards God. So I didn't have God in my life at that point, so I didn't do that last step. And God is very like merciful and graceful, so it's not about endless punishment with God, you know. So anyway, so at that time, what I did was I had racked up just like thousands of dollars in credit card debt, buying things that I had no business buying, you know, like buying like leather jackets that were originally $1,000 or $1,200. I would buy them on sale because they were $600, but I didn't have $600 to be spending on a leather jacket, and I didn't have the kind of lifestyle that supported my wearing a leather jacket around. I had 2 small children at the time, and I felt self-conscious about like going out in the leather jacket that I like coveted and wanted to buy. So that was the problem, is I was spending a whole bunch of money that I didn't have on stuff that I didn't wear that didn't match my lifestyle, but was an escape essentially. So I had all this stuff that I had bought kind of by unfair means in my mind. And so what I ended up doing, so I think part of it was on my own credit card. I don't know if I somehow had access to my parents' credit card, but I feel like part of it was that I felt like I had spent money that wasn't really mine to spend. And so I felt guilty about that as well. So what I ended up doing at the time was just donating like everything, basically everything fancy, everything nice that I had, thousands and thousands of dollars worth of stuff, and I wouldn't let myself sell it and make money off of it. I just gave it away. And so yeah, that's why I say it was a very like the vibe was very self-punishment. The vibe was sort of self-hatey. So, and then I wouldn't allow myself to buy anything for a year after that. And so what I had left myself, and I had beautiful collections of, I don't remember what my criteria was for what I gave away at that time, but it was pretty much everything. And I had beautiful collections of like vintage dresses and all kinds of things, because I've always been into vintage clothes too. And some beautiful Acne boots. Those are like the things. I had a whole collection of Swedish has-beens, like beautiful clogs, and some beautiful Acne boots. Those are like the few things that still kind of ping me, where I'm like, ooh, yeah. And there were some nice bags I wish I still had, but amen. So anyway, yeah, so I gave all that stuff away, and then I allowed myself to keep, I had like a couple of like Club Monaco t-shirts randomly that were kind of like drapey. The like Alexander Wang, like Tea by Alexander Wang was kind of like the moment of that 2013 time. And so I think they were kind of copying the Tea by Alexander Wang t-shirts. And I don't know why I had them. I think my sister, who works in fashion, had actually gotten me a Club Monaco gift card randomly, because I don't ever shop at Club Monaco. And I had bought like a navy and a white drapey t-shirt. And so I had those 2 t-shirts and a couple of flannels and some like black like legging jeans. And that's what I wore pretty much, and my boots, and that's what I wore pretty much for like a year. But at the same time, I was working in wardrobe. I started off at as a PA working in film production, and then got to be a wardrobe assistant. And so actually that wardrobe really suited, or those clothes really suited my on-set life. So, but yeah, so I did a whole year without spending, and I would love to say that it changed my life, but I don't think it did. Like in in a larger sense. I think it was helpful to know that I could do it, and I think that I needed to change, and I think it did provide me an avenue of change. But yeah, I don't know. The little kitty tail flashed by there. But yeah, I don't think it provided the wholesale, directional change that I maybe was seeking at that time. But I'm not sorry that I did it, especially now, because I have that to compare to. So I share that with you to say that that is not the spirit of this no-buy that I've decided to do. I'm not doing a no-buy because I think I am a terrible person, which is kind of why I did it before. And I don't think that's why people generally do it. I just am sharing that before that I wanted to like heal myself by fire, scourge myself by fire of these constant desires, which really were compulsive, like it was like I couldn't get out of my mind. I couldn't stop checking the website. I was clicking buy on something that I could not afford to buy and was not going to wear, and my particular poison at that time was the like indie fashion, expensive, independent, cool fashion. But yeah, so that was very much the spirit of that no-buy. But this no-buy I'm coming to with a different heart and a different desire. So the reasons why I think I need this no-buy and the spirit of the no-buy. So the reasons why I think I need this no-buy are because I am having a hard time sticking to a budget right now, and shopping for me is historically an area that I can lose the reins on. So because I've got 4 kids. My older 2 are very much older than my younger 2. I've got an 18-year-old, a 16-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 7-month-old. So because I've already been through the stage of life of having 2 small children, and that's where I'm back at now, that is really when my spending got out of control before. And I think it makes sense, often if there's a problem, it makes sense why there's a problem. It's just that our solution to the problem isn't healthy for us, isn't sustainable. So when you have 2 small children, for anybody who's been there before or is there now, it's wonderful in that there's so much love, but there's a lot of needs, It's a lack of sleep. There's people needing you all the time that genuinely need you. Like they will not be okay if you don't meet their needs. And generally it can put a strain on a marriage as well, because both partners are tired and stretched, and so it's just kind of a little bit of like a tough time, it's a beautiful time, but it's also a challenging time, and it's emotionally challenging. And so at that time, I think my spending really got out of control because I would escape into solace and solitude and space and meanness, by finding and purchasing and then returning or exchanging or whatever these objects, right? And so so I really went down a garden path there. And because I'm back in that stage of life right now, having 2 small children again, I don't want to do the same thing because it was so hurtful for my marriage at the time. It was hurtful for my self-esteem, and it was, I'm sure it affected my parenting as well, just feeling guilty all the time and feeling bad about myself. So yeah, I don't want to go back down that road. And what I notice right now is that I am going to shopping. I'm going to that distraction in order to get a little bit of mental space, in order to get a little bit of personal time, So I notice that I'm doing that. I notice that I'm having a really hard time sticking to a budget. And even when I intend to stick to a budget, I'm not really doing it. And I notice that there's a lot of guilt, and there's a tendency or a temptation for me to be deceitful with my husband about how much money I'm actually spending and what I'm spending it on. So those are things that I want to nip in the bud. I feel like this time I was going to say on the eve of the no-buy, but it's just like day 2. But this time going into the no-buy, I don't feel out of control and crazy. Like, I don't feel like I desperately need this or else I will not be okay. But I feel like I have to change the habits that I have right now in order to have the outcomes that I actually desire. So yeah, I'm having a hard time sticking to a budget. I've been here before. I don't want to repeat my past mistakes. And I have a lot of other things in my life that need attention, but they're hard and yucky, and I don't want to deal with them. So I feel like, and what I mean by that, just so I'm not super vague, is like my mom has Alzheimer's, and there's a lot of, her power of attorney, and there's a lot of work to be done with that. There's a lot of things that are very difficult. It seem like they shouldn't be so hard to make happen, to manage, but are actually very difficult to do, that I need to do on her behalf. And it's really has me working in a wheelhouse which is not natural or comfortable for me, to me. And so, and also I don't really have time during the day to do those things. So anyway, there's other things that need attention that I am not wanting to give attention to. And I feel like if I continue to allow shopping to be on the plate, I'm gonna continually choose that over doing other things that need to be done. And then the final reason is just that I'd like to just practice contentment. You know, I'd like to have a year of contentment. So that, I guess, dovetails into, that ties in with like the spirit of this no buy, is that I'd like for it to be a year of contentment. And just enjoying the stuff that I have, using the stuff that I have, and just being good where I am at. So it's not just like that I don't want to bring in a bunch of new stuff. It's that I don't want to constantly be in search of something else. So I think it's, yeah, I really want, I want that part of my brain to be able to rest for a while. So those are my reasons. Those are my whys. And then my rules, I haven't entirely actually finalized yet. I'm not buying any clothes, makeup, or fragrance for the next year. That part is clear. Sometimes I get money for my birthday from my dad. I haven't quite decided what to do with that, if I should allow, my birthday's in 6 months. So I'm not sure if I should allow myself to spend that money and make that an exception, or if I should just put that money away to save towards something that I might discover that I would like to buy in this time, and then buy that once the no buy is over. But I just feel like I worry about that money will then get spent on something else, and I won't be able to use it for what I want to use it for if I do that. So I haven't really decided about that. And then I did decide in terms of like, it doesn't apply to like skincare, like underwear, like if I, like that kind of stuff. Like it's not like a project. I think Courtney Carver talks about Project 333 in this way. It's not a project of deprivation. It's not a project in pain. So I'm not trying to be harsh with myself. I just need to give my brain a rest and my heart a rest. And I do feel like it creates tension within my marriage in terms of, my husband's pretty frugal, and I am too, actually, in most ways, but not in this way. And I also, like, my approach to purchasing is like, especially because these days, like a lot of things that you buy, you can only buy online. And so you're essentially just trying them out, So my approach is often like, well, I've ordered this thing, but I don't know if I'm going to keep it. So the money is like sort of in this limbo of spent and not spent. And I can always get it back. And I'm a big on returning. If I don't want it, I will absolutely return it. But for my husband, it causes stress and distress for, the money to be going down, and it's like feels permanent to him. So I just don't want that tension in our relationship at this time of having little kids. And I just don't, I don't want to have to feel, I just don't want to have something that creates distance and that I feel really emotionally attached to and unable to let go of, So yeah, so that's kind of the outline of what I'm doing and why. And I hope that you'll join me here to yeah, just to share your experience. If you've done a no-buy before, how it has gone for you. If you're doing a no-buy now and want some support, hopefully we can support one another. And the other thing is, I have been thinking about making YouTube videos again for a while. It's something, as I said, that I've done off and on for over 10 years now, because I first started in December of 2014, my tarot reading channel. So that's still on here if you want to know that about me, but I don't do that anymore. Anyway, so yeah, so I've been on and off YouTube for about 10 years. But I've been wanting to do more like what I like to watch, I notice, is like, I like to watch things that are, I like to watch fashion and style content and makeup content. But the creators that I like are creators who are thoughtful and reflective about life, about the project of acquiring things and creating, creating your surroundings, creating like what you will live in and how and what that will look like. So I enjoy that, but I really enjoy just like seeing things on a body. Like I enjoy watching content of people trying things on, like showing what clothes actually look like in person on a person. I don't even know why I enjoy that so much, but that is what I enjoy. And so I have an interest in like body typing, style systems, that kind of thing. And also I love clothes, and also I'm going to want to play with my clothes at some point, at several points in this year of not buying anything, I guess, to enjoy them and to just, yeah, revel in what I do have. So I am planning to make some videos of different try-on videos too. I'm thinking about making some videos about like pieces that I have from Quince, for instance, because I have a lot, and different pieces from different brands. And then also not recommendations, but like clothes that work on me as the body type that I am, and maybe why, or I don't know, and then different some different yeah, I'd also like to do some different, like I was thinking about maybe doing like a quarterly project 333 for this year. So yeah, so if you have any thoughts or requests, then please let me know. But thanks so much for watching, and yeah, take care, bye.